Hey VC, how's everybody? Vinyl Spin here. I'm answering a thread that Gary put out. He wanted to know what albums we have very strong associated memories with, that every time we hear that record or song, we immediately, our mind goes back to that time and it just replays like, you know, endless loop. Detailed memories associated with records. So I'm going to do my best here. Hopefully keep this under 20 minutes. We don't want movie length here. The first one I have here, I'll get the music started. Some Frank Zappa and the Mothers. Let's see here. This is the Mindbenders, Groovy Kind of Love. Now, when I was growing up, 9, 10, 11, somewhere in there, me and my girlfriend Angie would meet down at our little rendezvous, a grove of apple trees that kind of formed a canopy. They were 360 degrees, real thick. You could, you know, hang out under there in a moderate rainstorm and stay dry. I had dug, and my other friends had dug a huge pit, about a 5-foot deep pit, like a bunker, and laid huge boards over there and then built a fort on top, so a fort with a basement. Well, me and Angie would meet down there and, you know, visit. We'd eat down there and we'd explore. We'd, you know, a little exploration. So I have a real fond memory with this album. Let's see here. Okay, The Hustle. Yeah, this one I associate with roller rinks. Going with my friends to the roller rink and just having a blast. Yeah, The Hustle. Okay, this one here. Okay, Wings, Good Night Tonight. I was painting a house down at the lake in 1979 in mid-July to early part of August or mid-August. I was down there about 4 weeks. And this song was playing on my portable radio I had out there on my ladder and attachment so I could have tunes while I painted. Yeah. Let's see. Yellow Balloon. Oh boy. From 1967. The Yellow Balloon with Yellow Balloon on Canterbury here. This was the first time I flew a kite back in '67. There was an older neighborhood kid that lived next to me, and he was flying a kite, and he let me fly his kite. And then I asked my dad if he'd buy me one, and he bought me one, and then I had my first kite flying in '67. Let's see here, what else? Oh, Zager and Evans. In the year 2525, if man is still alive. Well, this song here, I always think of riding in my dad's Mustang. He had a '68 Mustang Fastback that he bought after seeing the movie Bullet with Steve McQueen. Well, we was driving one day, just father and son, cruising down Chrysler over in Independence there, and you go way far north, and there was a little lake there. It had a giant slide, a very private, secluded area, like a little beach. It even had sand out there. And we was on the way driving to the lake there to swim, and this was playing on the radio in the Mustang. Love that song. Okay, Whatever Gets You Through the Night. This one here I associate with going to my friend Greg's house, and his sister was Angie, my girlfriend, in the apple tree. And we would hang out there in their backyard. And their mom called us in one day for lunch, and she had, I think, bologna sandwiches and potato chips, these shoestring potato chips. So they were the first shoestring potato chips I ever ate. This was playing on her console stereo in the living room. She loved music. She always had music playing. And Whatever Gets You Through the Night was playing when I ate my first shoestring potatoes. Yeah. Kiss, The Destroyer. This takes us back to summertime when I spent the summer with my cousins on summer break. And we went buying 8-track tapes and bought a whole bunch of tapes, sticks, let's see, Foghat, Aerosmith, what else? Boston and Kiss. And this was one of the 8 tracks I bought. So every time I hear this, I think of our wonderful summer we spent together. And I'll put that over there. There we go. Okay, Petula Clark, Sign of the Times. Oh, I love Petula Clark's music. Sign of the Times was playing on my dad's 64.5 red Mustang with white interior and red carpet. My mom and him and I were driving up to Pikes Peak. And I remember the air pressure there was making my ears pop, and it actually gave me a headache. And I was asking them, why do my ears hurt? I can't hear. And my mom said, don't worry, it's just the air pressure. It'll go away after you accustom to it. And she had on, I think, Avon perfume. It was honeysuckle, I remember. And they had the windows down, and that was just very lightly coming into the back seat where I was laying down to, hopefully get over my headache before we reached the summit. And Sign of the Times was playing on the radio. Simon and Garfunkel, The Sounds of Silence. I was riding in my, I was riding in the car with my dad. We had picked up some stuff at Katz drugstore, and we was driving back on Nolan Road south, and this was on the radio, and I was asking my dad, what do the lyrics mean? Those are very interesting lyrics. What do they mean? And he was trying to explain it to me. And okay, let's see here. See here, Art Garfunkel is holding a copy of Tiger Beat. And then on the other pressing here, they airbrushed it out. Okay, now, Year of the Cat. That particular song by Al Stewart was always the song they played on a tape before the movie started in a little theater in a small hometown where I would go during summer vacation to visit a friend. And we'd walk uptown, and that's where we saw Planet of the Apes in '68, in April, I think. And that theater, back all through the '70s, every time I go down to visit him, they still played that old tape with all these old '70s songs. And before the movie started, you could hear the popcorn, so I think of that little theater, the smell of popcorn, and Year of the Cat with that one there. That same theater, Jackie Blue, they always had that song playing in the mix with Year of the Cat. Let's see, Queen. Okay, I had just gotten my 10-speed. I had gravitated away toward the banana seat bikes with the shifters and the small wheel in the front and the sissy bar in the back and the high-rise handlebars and popping wheelies, showing off to the girls on the block, jumping ramps. I was riding a 10-speed now because the neighbors across the street, they had some two brothers there that were a year and then 2 years older than me, and they had just gotten 10 speeds. So yeah, this was playing on the radio in their front yard while the one brother was working on his 10 speed, and it was Killer Queen and Bohemian Rhapsody, I think, either of those two songs. And so every time I hear this music, I think of that time in Independence, Missouri there on our cul-de-sac. Let's see here. And this one here, that's already at its end, so I know that's about 9 minutes. We had moved to the country, and in '76, looking across the pasture toward the north, there was a train track about 1.25 miles away, 1.5 miles, and you could just hear it, when the train went by. And it was raining one day. We had just had supper. I had my bedroom window facing the north there. The window was up. The smell of rain, you know, thunder, you know, stormy skies, and this was on the radio. First time I heard it. So, Strange Magic. Every time I hear Strange Magic, and basically anything from this album, I think of laying on my bed there, listening to my little clock radio I had beside my bed. Was always pumping out, you know, classic rock. And, you know, that image, I always think of it. Telstar. This album here, the whole album. I was visiting my friend in grade school. I think it was, what was it? No, it was 6th grade. Yeah, 6th grade. And he invited me over to his house one weekend, and we listened to this on his mom and dad's phonograph in the living room, and a whole bunch of other stuff, but I really fell in love with this album here, and went out and got the album. In their hallway, they had a bathroom, and the door opened up against a mirror wall. The whole wall was these mirror tiles that had this gold marble design in it, and we'd stand in the doorway there, and you know how they've done, you know, in music videos, one would stand in the bathroom looking down that mirror, and then we would get it to where it just cut our bodies in half, and we'd do weird things in the mirror. It looked like we were floating, or, you know. So that odd memory is associated with this album here. Yeah, my good friend Mark, he played drums. He was always showing how he had, when I invited him over, the first thing he played on his drums was Wipeout by the Safaris. He was trying to impress me with how fast he could play. Venus and Mars. Listen to what the man said. I went over to my cousin's house in the summer, and when I entered their house to spend a few days with him, this was playing on their phonograph. Listen to what the man said. And we immediately went downstairs and played pool. So, playing pool at my cousin's for that one. Jerry Rafferty, Baker Street, down at the lake with my friend Stan. His brother Jim had a amusement building that he put up there with pool tables, pinball machines, arcade games, you know. And this music, he always had music playing constantly. They had a jukebox in there, and we came and we would always punch in Baker Street. Styx. Let's see, this is Equinox from '75. I was browsing in the camera department, and I heard in the back of the store Lorelei or Light Up. One of those two songs back in the stereo department, and it drew me back there. And they were playing this back in the stereo department of a Kmart store. So that's where I will always have associative memories with that. Pablo Cruz. What's the song on this one? Let me see here. Love Will Find a Way. Yeah, I think it was 77 or 7. I think this was in 77, because I know I was, let's see here. This is from 78. Well, anyway, I was painting a garage that summer, and I had my radio with me. And, you know, Stephen Bishop's On and On, and let's see, what else? Magnet and Steel. That was always playing on the radio, and Meatloaf's Paradise by Dashboard Light, and then this song. So, painting a garage. Now this one here, Jeff Wayne's musical version of the War of the Worlds. Was living down the country, moved out of the city, and one night there was a radio station, a little tiny radio station out on the highway that broadcast from Sedalia, Missouri, and they were playing, it was KCBW, I think, 92.1 FM, if I remember the call letters correctly. on a certain night of the week they would play an entire album, and one night they was playing this album. I think it was November of 78 or December of 78, and they played this all the way through, and I was just absolutely, you know, had my undivided attention. Every time I hear this, I think of that. Yeah, great album. Brothers Johnson. In 1977, my parents were on a vacation, and my brother and I, actually, well, two brothers went at another house, and then me and my other brother, my closest brother in age, we went to my best friend's house and spent about maybe a month or 6 weeks there. And this song was real popular on the radio. Every time I flipped on the radio, I always had my little radio portable with me wherever we went. And we'd ride our bikes and go on long hikes. And this song was always playing on the radio. Okay, Boston. High school. There was this one guy, a kid in our class. He had one of those there dynamite, you know, punch. Oh, what did they call those? Those TNT dynamite box sticks, 8-track tape players. It was bright yellow, I remember. And on break and on lunchtime, he was always playing Boston real loud down the corridors, just blasting. And we heard this all 77 in high school. Oh, this is a great album. This is a reissue with the thing there. Think about 1983 or so, reissue on that one. Here's the original. You can see it has a lot darker color there. Yeah, fantastic. And while I had Boston out, I'll close this video with some of their other good albums. Great stuff here. Not as good as the first one, but still fantastic. You know, Tom Scholz, he was a perfectionist, and about every 7 or 8 years they'd come out with an album. And then, you know, back in let's see, this was 94, I think, or was this 88? 87, about 80, no, 86. 76, 78, 86, and then 94 is when these albums came out. Yeah, all great stuff here. Great listening. You can tell I'm in a hurry. Walk On, another fantastic album. You know, highly recommended. Yeah. So those are the memories I have associated with, you know. And here we're listening to Frank Zappa and the Mothers' 200 Motels. A little segment I pieced together on my computer there. Hope you enjoyed, everybody. And Gary, take care.